Cubby blue blood flowing through our veins. Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Lucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Lucho Scali.
Oh, blowing it out of the water again, Michael Cotton. Hi, welcome to the Son Ranto Show, a special playoff edition of the Son Ranto Show. Unfortunately, we're not going to talk about our favorite team, the Chicago Cubs, but hi, I'm Danny Rocket. You just heard the lovely strains of Mr. Michael Cotton. IFG is here, the infield fly girl, to come in and talk about all things baseball, including the two games that are going on right now. And a man whose team is not playing tonight, but has made it to the second round of the 2022 Major League Baseball playoffs, Mr. the Garrister. Mr. the Garrister. I screwed that up. Mr. Gary Demico, but I should have just said Garrister because that's what it says on your nameplate. But this is the Son Ranto Show. It is brought to you by our 108 Patreon supporters. Thank you so much to all of you that support us at patreon.com/sonranto. It's how we keep the show on the air. Without you, we die. That's right. So we do. I mean, at least the show does. And eventually us, because nobody here gets out alive.
Unless we can pay for it.
What'd you say, Michael?
I said, unless we can pay for it. The more money we get, the longer we can live.
It kind of is true.
That's how this world works. We don't live in fucking Denmark.
Exactly. We have to wait for it to happen somewhat naturally here.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we're off to a morbid start. So
you guys are going to say this is darker than the Robbie Ray inning.
So yeah, let's talk about some of these innings, including the Robbie Ray inning.
The Robbie Ray 2 pitches, you mean?
Yeah, it wasn't quite an inning. It was not even a 0.1, I believe.
No, not even a 0.1.
He's got an infinity earned run average.
He does
in the playoffs right now.
He did start off with a fly out.
Oh yeah, that's right. So he did get to one.
That's right. He got on 2 bases.
So what's his ERA? Well, only the one run is his, I guess. The other two were put on by the guy who was pitching before him. But so but why don't we start actually with the Cleveland game, because we got Gary here. Gary's a big Cleveland fan, and Cleveland, they beat the Rays in some really, really incredibly tight games, including a 0-0 15-inning contest that was finally decided on a walk-off. Like, Gary,
4 total runs in 2 games out of both teams.
24 innings, yeah.
Now, do you like this? I mean, I love baseball. I think that in some ways I could see this game as being boring because there's not a lot of action, but in some games it's just because it's the playoffs, it feels so tight. Like, Gary, where were you? Were you just like, pooping pellets?
Yeah, I was sweating it out. Absolutely. Yeah. I think I tuned in. I didn't even tune in. I didn't see the whole thing even, but I tuned in late and I still got to see about 9 innings because it went
a million years.
The danger of those games is that you start drinking in the first.
Right.
Thinking you're only going 9. And then next thing you know, it's, 2 hours after what you thought was going to be your bedtime, you've had another 6-pack and you're fucking dead the next day.
Like I wanted to call in a reserve liver from the bullpen, but you just have to stick.
I mean, I was at the that marathon Seattle game, and I can tell you the real danger is closing the bars in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're at the game, totally different story. You are stone cold sober by the time those games end.
Even worse, you're sobering up and you're hungover by the time the game ends. Because you've had
I just want to go home.
You
had a tie in the 12.
Exactly. Like, somebody score. I don't care who wins. But or I need one more beer just to like get me back up on my night. Because you got the pregame and then you start drinking then you're drinking at the ballpark. You have like 5 in there. Then they shut it down. You're like, well, I only got 2 more innings, and then it 16 innings later. But so yeah, I mean that was pretty exciting though. I mean, I kind of like games like that, but I can also see it being like if you're a casual baseball fan, like Rob Manfred does not want this style of baseball to exist.
Yeah.
This is Rob Manfred's nightmare that like some little kid's going to sit down and watch this game and be like, baseball's boring.
And you got to tell me, because I was not watching these games. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
You
You're
muted.
muted, Steve.
I don't know how I got muted, but I got muted.
Well, you're not on your mic anymore either. You're off mic. Your mic got thrown off. You're on computer audio. I can hear your. Oh, there he goes.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Well, Michael, he was just explaining how he didn't watch the game, so it like might be fine that he's not going to talk about the games that he didn't watch because he's got nothing really to add. But but Cleveland they get over that. They face the Yankees, and then last night it didn't go quite as well, although it was still a pretty tight game. They didn't lose by a lot. They didn't totally get pantsed, but Anthony Rizzo did it to you. And we had a little text exchange about that.
We did.
About how, like, you wanted to believe Anthony Rizzo was a cute, cuddly guy, but he just keeps doing it to you like he did in 2016. Now he does it to you here in a different uniform.
It's a little tough to take. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I thought, about, 3-4 innings in, I was feeling pretty good. They hadn't really gotten to Cole, but his pitch count was up there. I mean, they left him loaded in the 4th or 5th or whatever, and they had a crack at it there.
I
think, you're back.
Yeah. No, what I was going to ask was the 15 inning game. Was that with the Manfred man? They made it 15, or no? Are they not doing that in the playoffs?
You can watch again, Michael. Your long
I can watch again. I can watch extra inning games again. Okay.
Yeah. He's in protest. He turns it off after 9 if
they only play 9. I would rather see it end in a tie. And I mean, nothing good is going to happen after that. No, I didn't realize that they were going to go regular rules. So 15 innings, regular rules.
Yeah.
I mean, the bad part is that Manfred's going to point to that and go, this is the problem. And it's not, because it was, that's exciting. I don't know. I like it, but whatever.
What do you got at IFG?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that the thing for me, like the only reason I'm terribly against the Ghost Runner thing, because it's the same rule that they have in international tournaments, except they have a runner on first and second in international tournaments.
Wow.
But the problem that I have with using it in MLB is the fact that they don't apply it to the playoffs. Like the playoff game is meaningfully different than the game that you play during the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird like game hypocrisy. I don't know. I just don't like it.
You're right about that, because they got to manage the bullpen totally differently, than they do in the regular season. You're like, well, it's going to be over in a couple innings anyway.
You're building up a team to play one game, and then your playoffs are a different game.
Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But the reason I hate it is, and I've said it before, it takes away home field advantage. When you give that advantage to the first team up, that gives the visiting team an advantage. And I know, Danny, you've talked about looking at the numbers, and I think the numbers, they're close, but it's a very slight advantage to the visiting team, and that's just ridiculous. Like, if the visiting team gets 1 run, which is much easier for them to get, then the home team has to get 2 if they want to win. Because if they only get 1, well, then they have to just fucking play again. And then
once again, it's bullpen management. It's the difference of how you're going to manage your bullpen, and it's just a slight tick of a different game.
It's almost like they should give them another maybe 1 or 2 arms in the bullpen for the playoffs if that's what they're going to do, because like you said, they're not prepared to play the game that way.
Well, unfortunately, all the pitchers are injured by this time, and there are no more arms to have in the playoffs. This in from Jim Canavan. Congrats to the Guardian guy. I hate the White Sox. We all hate the White Sox on this show, pretty much. I mean, So how do you feel, Gary? What do you think's going to happen here in this series with the Yankees? You got to pull out now
Is
3
this
of the
their
next
year?
4.
That's what I want to know.
I mean, somebody compared us to the 2015 Royals, which I thought was flattering, but not necessarily accurate. I mean, we do have good things. Like we're a very good contact team. We don't strike out. We play good defense. Bullpen is good. Starting pitching is good.
Tito,
you got Tito. But I mean, I think we were 1-5, 1-6 against the Yankees this year. I mean, it's not a good matchup for us.
That's the hard part. That's really the hard part. And I know that IFG has to be, out there going Mariners feeling good, because the Mariners just always get their asses handed to them by the Yankees in the playoffs. So the fact that they made it to the opposite side and they won't have to see them till the championship series if they see them is a bonus for that team.
Well, let's talk about the Mariners.
Better, though.
Let's talk a little bit about the Mariners. Mariners over the Blue Jays in 2 games. They shut them out in game 1 4-0, and then they were down. Was it really 9-1?
It was 8-1.
Yeah,
it
was 9-1, and they won 10-9.
Yeah. It was bananas. It was kind of unfortunate. There was a hit by pitch to the head, and there was some tension going on, and then later on, a pretty serious injury on what should have been a fly out, and Springer got carted off the field. I hope he's okay. I haven't looked into that, but yeah, just like after that, that was what tied up the game, and from there on, it was just, I don't know.
Yeah, that was tough for the Blue Jays, who, I mean, I don't think anybody.
I just really feel for them. I really honestly do. Like, they had that game. I can't imagine how heartbreaking that is to.
It makes me happy that the Blue Jays fans had to deal with that, though, because fuck those Blue Jays fans from the playoffs, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago when they were just complete assholes. So I love that the Mariners beat their asses that way. It just, came out and just killed their chances.
In Toronto, in their face, too.
Yeah.
But Seattle, I mean, I know you're a fan, IFG. It's just like they've got some veterans, some rookies. There's kind of like, that kind of like ragtag group of bastards that might just get it done.
Fun team. It's such a fun team. You've got like, please take my salary dump, Eugenio Suarez, who's just come on the team and been an absolute spark. I'm so glad, because like I've always like had a Reds player that it's been like I'm secret fandom. I'm not allowed to be a Reds.
Now you have all the Reds players that you're.
And now I'm allowed to root for like out loud. And it's like
I just like how Pat Hughes says "Hey Eugenio," and that's enough for me.
It is, but he's so fun, and it's like he's having a great time. And then Julio is great, and JP's a lot of fun, and then their bullpen is just hysterical, and they're a really like fun team. They dance after they win. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
And
and they've been coming on for the last, like, getting better the last couple of years. Like, it is not completely out of the realm that they just showed up this year, but
no, not at all.
No,
especially with the the
Third
end of
spot,
season tournament. Yeah, but it was still tough for them to get in, but they do feel like a team that has the vibes to kind of roll through some things.
Well, they did. They did until yesterday, and then it all fell apart.
Well, you know what? They blew some vibes on that 8-run comeback.
You think? What a finish, though, to that game. I mean, I don't like the Astros. I want them to lose. I was really rooting for the Mariners. I had this game on all day. And, you just can't let them back in. And in my estimation, my overall takeaway is this game got overmanaged. Robbie Ray shouldn't have been in there. I mean, I don't know what you do. Like, obviously, 2020 hindsight, but like,
I mean, I'm like, I grew up in Tampa, right? And I'm a Cubs fan, and now I'm watching the Mariners as a home team because I've been here in Seattle for a year and a half now. And I'm like, Lou Piniella. Joe Madden again. Joe Madden again. God service, why?
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners. I mean, that's the team I forget is a team sometimes. You know, because I maybe watch them play like once every 7 years or something. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, the Mariners are a team.
Yeah.
My biggest story about the Mariners is that I was there when they blew up the Kingdom. I was like 3 blocks.
Cool.
I was as close as you could be. I was at the borders when they blew that thing up.
Did you go down specifically to watch it explode?
Yeah, I used to bartend. I used to bartend in Tacoma, and me and this dude were drinking. Like once we closed the bar, we would just sit there and drink and play pool until dawn. And I was like, hey, they're going to go blow up the fucking Kingdom. So, of course, we drove an hour. We drove an hour up there, and we got there before anybody else. We were right at as far, like the police wouldn't let us go any farther. It was awesome.
David
and
Elliott
it's a dome. I love, that makes me happy just seeing that a dome got blown up.
And that was like one of the original domes that looked kind of more like not like
looked like a parking garage that had a baseball field in it. Like that's what it looked like from the outside. So I actually would really like to go to their new field. That looks like a nice field.
What is it called? Safeco?
It formerly Safeco, now
Safeco.
T-Mobile. Yeah, I was just there myself. I caught game 160/161 doubleheader Tuesday for the Tigers.
Nice.
I was there too. It
Yeah.
was so fun.
So you guys got to hang out now. I didn't even
off
put it
both games.
together that you guys are both in Seattle because Gary's from Chicago. So I always think of him as there. Like he's far flung, but you're not from Seattle. But now you're there for years. So you guys are both new to Seattle.
Funny, yeah.
And Sleepless in Seattle. I see a rom-com coming our way. Matchmaker, match. No, I'm kidding. I can't. I'm not going to make you guys blush on the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going for the Mariners. I really do think that they might have a little bit more magic in them. The Astros, I mean, they're just a seasoned playoff team. They've been here. I was thinking, this is what I wish the Cubs. This is what the Cubs were supposed to be.
Exactly.
The Astros and the Dodgers is exactly what Theo sold us on many years ago, and then that just I don't know. He fell too in love with some of those players, and then I think the ownership kind of pulled the rug out from under him a little bit, and then next thing you know, we're fucking rebuilding again.
Yeah, here we are, and we're doing a show about other teams, and we're a Cubs podcast, so that's not how that's going for us.
Well, I mean, we're gonna
we'll get to some Cubs
anybody
stuff,
who came for the Cubs. You got to sit through this bullshit with the other teams, just like you have to in October, unfortunately. But we're gonna get to the Cubs because I got some shit to say.
Well, and we've saved the best for last too. We have.
I just keep saying my chaos scenario for this World Series is the ultimate Vetter Cup. I want the Mariners and the Padres. So, as an extension, we'll make it a Cubs podcast. I want Darvish in the World Series again.
Yeah.
I would not mind that. I know Danny has really strong feelings about the Padres.
They're dissipating.
I understand exactly where those come from, and they're frustrating. But at this point, I'm kind of just like, they're doing all the things that I want a team to do. So I kind of feel like, that's a different team than what we saw way back then.
They got to get past. Well, let's talk about the Padres.
And let's just point out one more thing. Neither the Mariners nor the Padres have a World Series ring yet. It would be like the thing for all the marbles, somebody is getting their first ring.
So
that would be the equivalent of the Cubs and Cleveland back with the longest droughts and everybody's fucking like going insane. It's like, who's
like, if you want to drive ratings, like this is the first time this has happened since the first time there was a World Series. Like,
now Yankees, Dodgers, pretty populous places, probably drive some ratings, but Mariners, Padres, sure.
We're actual
everybody's going to tune in for that
know,
juggernaut.
Baseball fans want to stay up till midnight every night for every game.
That's right.
I, as a West Coast dwelling person,
Yeah.
would absolutely love to not have to watch baseball in the middle of a work day.
It is
Right. No,
tough
I
to
would-
have the Guardians playing at 9 a.m. I gotta say, that's
Seriously.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I honestly, I wouldn't mind that matchup. I think I said before the playoffs, Cleveland and LA is what I was kind of thinking.
Oh, that
I
would
just
have been
don't want to
fun.
watch the Dodgers again.
Yeah, no, screw the Dodgers.
But
don't
see,
wanna them either.
I'm of the opinion with the Dodgers. I know everybody hates them, but I'm just like, they fucking do it right, and I want all these assholes who own teams and are trying to do it on the nickel
On
and
the
diamond
cheap.
this shit. I want them to see over and over and over the team that does it right is the Dodgers. Or honestly, that's why I don't mind the Padres, because they
They've
put
spent
together
too,
a bunch
yeah.
of young guys that were good. They extended a bunch of people. They have long fucking contracts. They are like all in all the time for the last like 3 or 4 years. So
And update if you're blacked out of the baseball game, I'm looking at it right now. The Braves just scored again. They're rallying in the bottom of the sixth. It's 2-0 Atlanta, and then the Dodgers are ahead of the Padres 2-1. And the
yeah,
Padres,
I'm watching. I've got the Dodgers and Padres on right now.
I tried
Watching
to,
you, Darvish, throw
okay.
in here.
I tried to
That's
get Uncle Mike to come in to talk about the Mets season being over. He's our Mets podcast guy.
Also on the West Coast.
Yeah, he's in LA, but he said it's too soon. He does not want to talk about it yet. That was he's just disgusted. I mean, it's kind of like what was we texted back and forth a little bit. He's disgusted by how this team. He's like, I don't even think it would have mattered if we would have added somebody like Wilson Contreras. He doesn't think it would have moved the needle. He's like, because we're destined for doom. It's like kind of what he gave me.
With 6 games left, they go to Atlanta and get swept and lose the division. I mean, that's just
And they could have had a bye. They could be right now playing the Phillies in a team that they really know from their division. I mean, well,
and dominated. I think. I mean, I think the Phillies were like 5-14 against the Mets or something.
But now the Padres move on. They got the Dodgers, and I watched some of that game last night, and I'm sorry, it just looks like the little brother playing the big brother. And even though the Padres really stacked their team, these are 2 really great teams, but the Padres David has got to slay Goliath, just like Cleveland has to slay the Yankees, just like, these things have to happen, just like the Cubs had to slay St. Louis, which we'll get to St. Louis. We were saving the best for last on the playoffs here. But, that's what it seems like. And I don't know that the Padres are going to be able to pull this out. That's the sad thing about it, because even with all the talent,
it's the difference between, like this is their first sort of taste at the postseason. And it wasn't like they dominated to get in. They are in that division with the Dodgers, and they are 12 games back of the Dodgers or some shit like that.
No, like 20.
22, I think.
20, yeah, it's like 22.
It's so ridiculous out there with that team, but it's 3 games, or 5 games. You've got a chance. Like these short series gives an opportunity. Like it really does even up the playing field a bit more. Now, Dodgers had a little bit of time off. It seems to have been fine for them. This has been the big story going into the end of season tournament, giving teams 3 days off.
Right.
On one hand, it seems like a great idea because they just played 162 games and it's the most grueling season in all of sports. But then on the other hand, they're not used to taking that much time off, and you don't know what that's going to do to some teams.
Well, they were fine last night, and they're fine tonight, and it didn't seem to matter. Astros were off and managed an incredible comeback, and they walked it off. So I wanted that to be true. I wanted the bye week to be the bye games to be the dumbest thing that they did, and that everybody gets iced, and then they came out and didn't score any runs, and the pitching was rusty. That's really what I wanted, but that's not seemingly what is happening or what has happened in any of the games.
Right. No,
Yankees were good. Like everybody was good.
Atlanta was feeling
okay. But since we're kind of talking big picture with that little bit here, before we get to the best part of the wild card series. What did you guys
I'm
think
itching.
of the wild card series? This 3-game, only one series went. That was Padres Mets. They're the only ones that made it to the third game. The other ones, I don't think any of them were really dominated. What? Let me look again. Yeah, I mean,
there was one that was kind of dominated, but
there was one dominated that we haven't got to yet.
Yeah.
That one was dominated, but the other ones were, somewhat competitive. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you like?
Actually, I think the Mets got their asses handed to them. Yeah, pretty much.
Do you like this 3-game series?
I think it goes without saying that I like it better than 1-game play-in. I guess that's always ridiculous.
I thought I would hate it, and it turns out I like it. And it's like almost like a nomination in a second. It's like, instead of just this 1-game play-in, and it's almost like a coin flip. At least it's like, okay, well, you're good enough to win 2 games against these guys, so sure, go ahead.
Yeah,
it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm.
Do the Cubs win in the wild card game against Pittsburgh in 2015 if they got to play? I mean, Jake dominates, and then you probably throw Lester next. I mean, I guess maybe they do. I don't know. But for me, it's like, I mean, to answer your question, Michael, I see advantages to both. Like, you have the do or die game. And that's a game 3 if you get to it. But if you don't get to it, it means that team was just better because they won the first 2 and you have more of a reason. Plus, it's more of an incentive to get that bye because you've used your top pitchers.
Yeah.
You've used all, and they make you play right away because now getting into the format you're just talking about. Now, what doesn't make sense is the penalty is, okay, you've used all your pitchers. Now you gotta keep going. The games just keep on going. You play the next series. You got the Yankees now. Cleveland wins those 2 games. Now they get the Yankees. They only get the day off because they won 2 in a row. So there's an advantage to that too. So you can reset a little bit. But here's the thing that's dumb. They're off tonight. The entire American League is off tonight. Just start tomorrow. Or just start a day later. Like, what are you doing?
See, okay,
that's not baseball.
Yeah. Well, as often is the case, I'm in disagreement with all 3 of you. The wild card game, the wild card game was the best way to end the regular season and play their way into the postseason. I fucking loved it. Now the fact that we have so many. In the fact that it's like game 2. Oh, you won game 2 or you didn't win. Who cares? It's like the first game. Are we going to get really excited? I don't know. It was fun, but we got another game.
I kind of like what David
and then
Elliott.
Game 2. We got another game. It was only one game that made it. It's like the game 7-ness doesn't come through in these 3-game series.
But it's a game 7 against like a 285 win teams. You know what I mean? Like, so I can, or sometimes in the 90s, like that year with the Pirates, it was 97 and 98 win teams. So it can happen that way.
But it's even worse now. I mean, you got these teams are the better teams. Let's see. Yeah, the better teams lost what 2-3 of the games, 3 of the series. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that they went to that 1-game format is because the wild card teams were just rolling in and rolling their way up, playing hot, rolling on through and getting to the World Series. And they didn't like that. That's why they made the extra game. And I honestly, when they first expanded that to the 5 teams, I thought, terrible idea. I'm going to hate this. I fucking loved it. And it's the 1 game or actually 2 games that I knew I was going to watch every year because those games were actually for all the marbles.
Unfortunately, they were on a Tuesday at 3:00 in the afternoon, and nobody could watch them. Yeah. Gary's getting up at 10 in the morning to try to watch this thing, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Well,
but
I got to work. I got it out of the background. Just kind of
I don't know.
game day."
And I know that so many people have been pushing for this fucking 3-game series for goddamn ever. And my issue has always been, you're gonna go to the 3-game series, and then that's not gonna be enough. And then you're gonna go to the fucking 5-game series, and then we're gonna have 5-7-7, and then that's not gonna be enough. And then we're gonna have 7-7-7. And next thing you know, it's the goddamn NBA playoffs, and we're playing in fucking January.
Well,
I'm more baseball. Yes.
You gotta there was the reason baseball playoffs and the teams that were in it were so good is because you had to fucking get through that season, and you had to be one of the best teams. And now you only have to be one of the middling teams. And that is a problem for me. And the middling teams get to go against other middling teams in the first rounds. Like, who gives a shit?
For me, from like
but it doesn't.
Sorry.
Well, I like the 3-game series, but it doesn't mean I like having 12 teams in the playoffs. I mean, I think.
But again, yeah, I just don't like the 3-game series. I like that one.
But that's what baseball is. It's 3 games at a time.
I love that one game 163, or on the great years, it was game like 165. Because then they had to play extra games to figure out who was going to get into the fucking wild card game.
Yeah, that was a great year. That was 2018 for the Cubs. Oh yeah, that was just a magical ending.
And and the Cubs. Oh God, yeah, that was a bummer personally, but as a whole, I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
but I get it. I don't know. Just for me, it takes the urgency away from what we have learned.
Certainly took the urgency away from the end of the year.
Yeah,
there was not
the only thing we cared about.
Yeah,
there were no races. There were only just like,
except for Milwaukee,
who's gonna not suck at the end of the year. That was kind of where we were. I see IFG wants to like yell at me.
For me, it's no. For me, I'm my brain's going a totally different direction. The problem that I have with the extra teams getting into the playoffs is what you said. It encourages it allows middling teams in, which encourages these cheap teams that we don't like the way that they do their things to do the things that way, because all you have to do is be middling. It encourages a reduction to the mean, if that.
Which is why I have this fucking like, I want the Dodgers to win, because I just want it to become, honestly, it sucks sort of, but yeah, just Dodgers Yankees every year until all these other teams fucking figure out that you can't be a dick and do nothing all the time, and then just like fucking show up late to the party and go home with the prom queen. You can't fucking do it.
Speaking of dicks that come late to the party and show up late all the time, Robert Sanchez asks, "When are we going to make fun of the Cardinals?" And I think we're there.
Yes, the dicks are leaving the party.
Yeah.
Woo!
So this from our friend Corey Friedman, friend of the show over at Chuggo, says Cubs Twitter tonight, and it's got that meme of the guy in front of the grave, and he's wearing a Cubs hat, and the Cardinals are buried, and he's just giving the peace sign. And then
and I love that the dude with the Cubs hat is totally, he's wearing it left.
Yeah, he's like, peace out. Hats to the left, Stropey in the house. So, the Cardinals blew a 6-run lead. They blew a 3-run lead in the 9th by allowing the Phillies to
score 6
to
runs.
Score 6 runs in the 9th inning. And it was just such a thing of beauty, and it made the Cardinals fans so sad. It was it was only game 1. It wasn't the end of the series. But look at this guy.
Louis. That's the best part. It's not like they were the wild card team going to Philly. No, they were the champs, right? The fucking division champs, and they just got their asses handed to them in the 9th. Loved it.
For the podcast listeners, I have a picture of a very sad Cardinals fan sitting in the crowd with this stupid looking mustache and Trump voting sunglasses. And he's got his hands over his face. He's just hiding his shame. Either that or he's not supposed to be there because of the ankle bracelet. And then there's
I don't want to throw up.
That's totally what it looks like.
I think there was ankle bracelet night there. Wasn't
He,
it?
he didn't go so far as to wear a mask because, of course, he's not going to do that. But he doesn't want people to know who he is.
And there's another sad. There's a woman with her, red sweater that she brought draped over the railing there, and just a big old sad frown. She kind of looks like the woman that wielded the guns at Black Lives Matter during the protests, in 2020. She looks a lot like her. It's probably her.
To be fair, we got to give these people props because a lot of those people started leaving before that game was over.
It's true.
Yeah, it was like you at extra innings.
I'm gone.
So then they
Nothing
got
good's
shut out.
Point.
Then they got shut out 2-0, and their season's over, and we're never going to see Yachty again. Although I don't doubt that he's going to somehow torment us still from beyond the grave.
Oh, no, he's going to come back and be the fucking the bench coach or some bullshit. He's going to be there all the time.
He's already confirmed to be managing Team Puerto Rico for the World Baseball Classic. So that's just a stepping stone to eviler things.
Oh, yeah. and it's going to be hard to root against that team, too. I'm going to love the Team Puerto Rico, and I'm going to be like, damn it, Yachty.
We're going to have Marcus and Javi and Lindor. My gosh, it's gonna
all
be
the
so
best.
fun.
All our favorites. And this just in,
on the screen.
Padres and Dodgers tied at 2. So little brother's trying to come back here. Braves are up 3-0. So where were we with this? Oh yeah. So now the Phillies move on. Nick Castellanos with a game-saving catch the other day, which the knock on him was it wasn't that pretty, but he got there.
Did you see the thing on the news? John Boy shared it. The news broadcaster, they had a crawler thing on the bottom of the screen that was 19-year-old shot in a wrong, some a warrant knock. A warrant knock, and this innocent 19-year-old blown away by the cops. And then this broadcaster is running around the baseball game, and he's like, "Hey, you old guy, you're a Phillies fan, huh?" He's like, "Are you from around here?" He's like, "No, I'm from Detroit." He goes, "Oh, really? Why are you a Phillies fan?" He's like, "Oh, my grandson plays on the team." "Who's your grandson?" "Nick Castellanos."
Is it just random?
This literally random thing just happened. John Boy shared it. It's on my timeline.
I was gonna keep it a little lighter and just say that Nick Castellanos killed Angela Lansbury with that catch, but you had to bring it down. Then
sorry, but that was a thing that happened.
R.I.P.
We can laugh when old people die, though.
Yeah, depends on how old. Yeah,
For the podcast listeners, all three of them cringed. They all sort of made a face at me like, I don't know if we can say that.
Yeah. Well, we could say it, but we're just going to judge you harshly to your face because it's the Sun Ranto show.
I defend your right to say it, sir.
Yeah. I am a well-known and proud ageist.
So, Phillies, they're in it. They're getting beaten now, but they won yesterday. And so that proves to be they got that offense.
Team that, really probably shouldn't be there, but they just have it going right now.
Well, they should be there, but they should have been there all year, and they weren't. And now maybe they can piece something together and get past the Braves.
It was them and the Brewers at the end of the year, both playing hot potato, just trying to give it away.
Rotten potato. That was they were playing rotten, but they both sucked. They sucked bad. We swept the season series. The Cubs swept the season.
When they had everything on the line, they got their asses beat 3 straight games when they really, really needed it. Luckily for them, the Brewers were worse.
Yeah.
So I'm picking up pretty much everybody's rooting interests overall on this. But the one, this is the series that I don't care about quite as much, except for Nick the Stick and Kyle Schwarber. So I guess I'm more Phillies than Braves. definitely Padres over Dodgers, definitely Cleveland over the Yankees, and I'm definitely Seattle overall.
You have
So
fantastic opinions.
I
always.
would agree with all of those as like how my heart wants to
Yeah,
cheer.
but what are we gonna do when it's Braves, Dodgers, and Yankees, Astros? That's what.
turn it the fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my
Get
god.
2 other leagues to watch. I'm fine.
Yeah. Doesn't Lidem start on Saturday? I believe.
Yeah, coming up
Dominican
real soon
League.
here.
Yeah, let's go watch Christopher Morel. Is he good? Did he sign with anybody? Maybe he
I haven't
plays a
looked at.
little bit later.
He was in Aguilas last year, so hopefully, he should still have his rights to the team. I haven't looked up the final rosters yet. I'm not even sure if they've dropped.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It usually all happens pretty late because you have people sort of washing in at the beginning of the season and stuff.
Yeah.
But French Wendell's going to be in Aguila.
Yeah, I saw that. Frankie hanging on. That's a reason to watch right there, I guess.
Yes,
I mean,
we're
hopefully
going
his
for our
back's
23rd
okay.
championship. It's going to be a grand time.
Yeah, they've got a giant eagle outside of their stadium too. That rivals anything the Cubs have, by the way. I mean, we got our nice statues of players, but if we had a giant bear, like that would be cool.
Which
We don't have
makes
one.
me, which
We'd end up with a giant
reminds
Clark
me,
the Cub with no pants. That's what
when Danny and I were over at Club 400 Wrigley, they were talking about how there was a time back in like 2014 when they had a giant macaroni, macaroni out in front of Wrigley Field, like some product placement.
2012, 2014, even maybe. Yeah, people were just taking pictures with this big macaroni, and they were convinced that people liked it. And everybody's like, no, we really don't. We're taking pictures with it because we think it's stupid.
It's ironic. It's like, can you believe they put this thing out here?
Isn't that what the bean is?
Yeah, but bean is a piece of art. This was literally a product placement for macaroni and cheese. It was a macaroni,
So if the bean was like, help me.
And the bean is giant.
It is.
The macaroni was not that big.
Shiny.
Right. It was, I mean, giant for a macaroni.
Yes.
But you could say the same thing about a bean. I would say the bean was another, 1,000% bigger than the macaroni in terms of a macaroni. I don't know. Fuck. I just got lost in the size of a bean and a macaroni together, and then how big
this is the saddest thing I've read all day.
Yeah. This in from the chat, David Elliott. He's going to be elected to the Hall of Fame and torment us to eternity. Well, I assume he means Yachty.
Yeah. And
not
the only thing that's going to get us through is that every time they talk about him, we'll just pop that picture up of the baseball stuck to his chest.
Stuck to his old sticky chest. Well, on that note, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to do some Where Are They Now to talk about some of these players that have been performing for the former Cubs that have been performing in the playoffs. And then we're going to get into Tom Ricketts' letter to fans and Jed Hoyer's presser a little bit, although I don't see the point because you don't learn anything. Gary, if you'd like to stick around, you're more than welcome, but I told you I'd let you go right now if you wanted to. So
I think I will take my chance here and get some work done. But
sounds good, brother. We'll have you on again when the hopefully the Guardians can get through this series. I mean, at least get you through a few games, get you to game 5 would be nice at least,
I mean, they sure need a split coming home, I think.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Although, one time there was the Cubs, they were up on, I forget which team it was. They were up 3-1. The other team was, and the Cubs were down, and they had to go back and play on. They had to play their asses off, win 3 straight in order to win the World Series. I forget.
Yeah.
There's something to look forward to. Cleveland hasn't even gone home yet. They've got a chance.
Well, that's one thing you can say about both the Mariners and the Guardians is they played a team that already used their number 1 and they haven't yet. So they got there's that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we're rooting for you, and
Yeah.
we're going to take a quick commercial break for Patreon. This show is brought to you by our 108 Patreon supporters. Please support us at patreon.com/sunranto, and we'll be right back. All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today. Welcome back to the Sun Ranto Show. Thank you, Gary, for coming on. But we're still here with IFG and the Cubes fanatic, Michael Cotton. And I did want to mention this, that I have this that was a giveaway from Wrigley Field. That is the long sleeve hooded T-shirt. Quite a nice piece that they gave away right at the end of the season. Michael, I gave you one. I had a couple at the extra. People left them at the gig, the Bleacher Bug Band gig.
I almost wore it tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, they're nice.
Well, you could have been a sexy model then for it, but instead, I'm just going to hold it up in this plastic bag. Anyway, this is going to be the Patreon prize this month. The Patreon patron of the month is chosen at random, and we will be giving away this hooded T-shirt to a very lucky person.
Guy Serious wants to know, how does a hooded T-shirt work?
Well, it's like a regular T-shirt, except for it's got a hood on it, and then you can put the hood on your head.
It's like a sweatshirt, only not heavy.
Yeah, it seems great. I haven't worn mine yet, but I'm going to give one away probably before I even wear mine. I did want to also say, oh yeah, you have to put hashtag Chance in the chat. We forgot to say that we're giving away a Frank Chance postcard. They have not come yet. I ordered them a while ago, and then I looked up the company that makes them, and everybody's like, do not order from them. They're a total scam. They take your money. But then I got a shipping confirmation today, which, by the way, I got a shipping confirmation last week too. So we'll see what this means. And this might actually be a total scam. And I'll have to but anyway,
maybe they're shipping them one at a time.
Yeah.
They're actually used. They're just sent to you.
I got 500 of them. So I got some to give away if they come. So we're going to do a little thing. I don't know where IFG went. She was here. She left. I think she's going to show us what
I have a Mariners one of those that they gave away.
I'm literally holding one. I can take it out.
I know, but I wanted to I don't know, because you had yours all whatever.
Yeah, well, it's actually here. I'll just pull it out. You can see it here.
Oh, cool.
Actually, it's the 1984 bear, which is one of my favorite. And I don't know if this is cool in practice when you put it on, or if you were to put this hood on, because it is a pinstriped hood.
It is. I will say that's kind of weird.
It's weird.
I probably would have left that idea.
But when I put it on, it's not so bad. Like, you don't really think about it, but I'm sure other people make fun of me when I walk down the street.
Hey, look at that guy in the white hood.
And then what I tell myself is it's because of the shirt.
Also, Facebook user says, I never got a postcard. and I never got a shot glass, and I eventually had to buy my own shot glass. So I'm not sure if you are a Facebook user, but you sound disgruntled. So, and did you win a postcard? I mean, you have to win one too. I don't know.
Danny just goes straight to the point. Well, did you win any of those things? We don't just give it to everyone.
Yeah, well, and I do have shot glasses for sale. I'm just not sure who's saying that. But please contact me on the side because I've sent a lot of things to a lot of people. But now is not the time for customer service, people. now is
we're doing something here.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm in the middle of a show, lady.
Hey, Padres and Dodgers are now 3-3, just keeping neck and neck moving through this game.
And I want to say this about that. A lot of people I owe postcards to, a lot of people. And it's because they haven't come in the mail. That's why I have a whole list of the people that I'm going to send them to. I'm going to sit down, like Ringo on The Simpsons and answer all my fan mail, and everything's going to go out in one big fell swoop as I tell everybody my message of hope and doom on the postcard.
Which Marge got her letter back 30 years later. So that's the time frame we're working on, people.
Exactly. So
Facebook users should just do what I do and drink out of glasses they get at the ballpark.
Yeah, ballpark glass.
Exactly.
Well, he did. It's just a really tiny one.
No, if I owe anybody anything, I'm gonna try to get it to you. But anyhow, if you're waiting on a postcard, they're still coming. I know who you are. It's all cataloged and everything. It's part of what the Patreon patrons pay for is me sitting around cataloging who I'm sending chance postcards to. Because I never won nothing, but I bought it all on my own.
Like
yourself up by your bootstraps and get that shot glass. Seriously, I owe you something, Facebook user. I promise to give it to you. Anyway, we're gonna do a segment called "Where Are They Now?" and it's got a theme song. So, here it is.
Where are they now? How I miss those companions who walk the canyons of the night by my side. Where are they now?
All right, Michael Cotton, let's blow through these suckers. There's a lot of them. I didn't realize how many former Cubs are actually in this playoffs. If we had kept them, we'd be in the playoffs.
And I just realized, isn't Jock Peterson still with the Braves?
No.
Oh no, he went to San Francisco. That's right.
Yeah.
He won his ring and moved on. Yeah. Okay. Good. I was looking at the picture. I was like, All right. We're gonna start with Nick Castellanos because that was just the first one Danny put up there. I don't know why. But Nick the Stick, 2022, had a 263, 305, 389 slash for a 694 OPS. That is not all that great. A 95 OPS plus, so just below average. So I don't know. We're not missing much with Nick the Stick, but in the playoffs up to this afternoon when I was doing this, he had 3 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts in 13 plate appearances in these playoffs.
Well, tonight he's 0 for 3. So, and he's batting 200 in the playoffs with a 517 OPS.
I believe he got hurt and he struggled, and then he got hurt, and then he came back and struggled some more a little bit. Right?
I love me some Nick the Stick, but there's not much stick in the Nick anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
He was injured a good part of the season, and I don't know.
But hey, big catch, right?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't pretty, but he got there.
Yeah, make a bad jump and and finish it nice.
Well, how about his teammate?
Kyle Schwarber, 2022. His average was 218. That is not very good. But he had a 323 OBP and a 504 slugging for an OPS of 827, which was good. Yeah, which was good for 130 OPS plus.
Yeah,
right.
Dingers. How many dingers?
He led the league in homers with 46 dongs.
Wow.
And he also led the league in strikeouts with like 201. So
that's
I'll take it every time.
That's as many home runs as Patrick Wisdom and Wilson Contreras had together.
I am so annoyed he's not in left field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love me some Hap, but Jesus.
In the playoffs, unless he's done something tonight, he's 0 for 12 with 5 strikeouts and 14 plate appearances, but he had 2 sacrifice flies. So you got that going for you.
Yeah.
He doesn't have Jason Hayward there to tell him to hit the baseball.
Yeah. Well, Jason Hayward should have told himself to hit the baseball. Now, speaking of people that hit baseballs, including one out of the park last night, Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah,
Anthony fucking Rizzo. Look, this is the guy, like, this will make you sick to your stomach.
Yep.
224, 338, 480 slash line for an 817 OPS and a 131 OPS plus. That means he is one better than Kyle Schwarber was, who led the league in home runs. And how many home runs do you think Anthony Rizzo hit this year? If you're just going to throw out a random guess and it's Anthony Rizzo, always go for 32 because he's done it 4 fucking times in 12 years. And 1 year was his first year where he hardly played, and 1 year was 2020 where he would have hit 32 if he'd had 2/3 more of a season. So, Anthony Rizzo 32 is just the number. Like, it's amazing. Yeah.
Getting back to Kyle Schwarber,
1 for 4 with a homer in these playoffs.
Just
amazing defense.
Real quick, real important here. Robert Sanchez is pointing out that one of Kyle Schwarber's sacrifice flies was in that 6-run ninth against the Cardinals. I just thought we should revisit that and make sure people knew that we knew that. So yeah,
we knew that Kyle Schwarber is still doing God's work,
and that the Cardinals are still failing in the ninth inning.
Yeah. No, it's sad. I had a conversation with my son today, and he's talking about Rizzo, and he's like, he's the best first baseman that the Cubs have ever had. And I thought about it for a second. I'm like, well, I mean, Ernie Banks played first base for a while, and but he was also shortstop. You could make the argument for him, but who else? Nah, but no. So the sad secret behind Tinker to Evers to Chance is that they went into the Hall of Fame mainly because they were in that poem. They were like, it's well known amongst Hall of Fame geeks that they really weren't that good on their own, but as this group,
it was a sense of the actual Hall of Fame where they're famous, so they get in.
Yeah, it was. And and I think they were all dead by the time the Hall of Fame opened and they got in. So yeah, so Frank Chance, but I said the same thing. I
honestly thought Mark Grace would be buried under first base. I honestly thought if there was anybody they were going to keep, it was going to be Anthony Rizzo, and it's going to be forever.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have even cost them all that much. They just didn't want an aging person. And here's the sad thing about it: there was nobody like knocking at the door at first base. There wasn't we got this hot shot. I mean, unless they weren't like thinking about Mash Mervis back then, and even
they weren't thinking about Mash Mervis earlier this year.
Yeah, exactly.
So
well, they said they were now. Now they're like, see, we told you this guy was going to be incredible because of the coaches we have and the wearable technologies that we have them wearing.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I don't know. I have to side with Rizzo on this. He had a lower than performance contract for many years, and they gave him market value. That is true, but he had already given them like the best years of his career with, quote unquote, best years of his career for a discount. They didn't have to go 150 million or anything, but a little more than what they did, or at least work with him.
It's more than that. It's what IFG just said, and that's that he should have been buried under first base, and that's how everybody felt about it. And that you want to see the statue of him holding that ball in Statue Way on one of those 2 platforms that don't have a statue yet. And they fucked that up.
I honestly, with all my heart, thought Anthony Rizzo was going to be that guy.
Yeah, should have been. I 100% agree. And like I said, having that conversation with my son, I was like, oh my God, I think Anthony Rizzo might be the best first baseman in Cubs history. And if anybody in the chat wants to jump in, and let me know why I'm wrong. I might be, but I'm like going through my head. I'm like, I can't think of anybody who is better or more important to this team.
Carlos Pena.
I mean, I kind of wanted to go with like Sarge back in the 80s, but yeah.
No, that was Leon Durham. Sarge played right field.
No, Andre
Yeah.
Dawson played right field.
No, Sarge played right too.
right field before Andre Dawson.
Andre
I'm
Dawson.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm getting
Leon
my
Durham
guys-
played a little outfield. He also played first base. Yeah, I can't.
I'm getting mixed up.
Billy Buckner over there.
Bill Buckner.
Can you
Yeah.
guys hear my cat like banging on this door? This is
No, I
ridiculous.
can't. Does she want to come in? Does she want to be on the show? Or he?
Come
Come on in, kitty.
All right. Well,
Um,
now that we're done crying,
Oh, first, yeah,
about
here we go.
Anthony
Terry
Rizzo.
E. Mark Grace.
So we had that conversation too. Mark Grace will not be remembered for as good as he was. Like everybody says, he's not a Hall of Famer,
Like
right?
Most doubles in the 90s, though.
Yeah. Well, the most hits from 1990
Oh, yeah,
to
most hits.
99. He didn't hit 3,000 though. That's the problem. But he had more hits than anyone else in the league. He played Gold Glove first base. He literally was one of maybe the top 5 players of a decade. Now,
And
is he
for all the kids who are my age, that all of the, fandoms that are my age, all of us that jumped on the bandwagon in 1998, Mark Grace was our first baseman.
Yeah.
Well, and the guy had he just didn't. The problem was he didn't hit for power, and by the time he retired with Arizona in 2001 or whatever, power was everything, right? So they weren't looking at
steroids was everything.
right. And he
That's-
didn't
and us.
right. And he didn't have the 3,000 hits. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have the magic numbers. But if you really look at, okay, he had more hits than anybody in 10 years, in a decade. That means he's the best hitter of the decade. I mean, I think you've got a spot in the Hall of Fame for the best hitter of every decade, don't you? Like, it feels like you should, but
He might be a veterans committee guy if he ends up doing the dog and pony show and going to all the things and shaking some hands. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do it because he's kind of a drunk loudmouth who keeps accidentally canceling himself every time he opens his stupid mouth. So guess what? He's done, and he's not getting in the Hall of Fame because he goes out and makes bad Archie Bunker jokes on the broadcast. He was in stepping.
Oh,
yep.
God.
He but
Remember?
here's the thing. He's not canceling himself with the guys that vote.
That's
Those guys are like, I don't know why they said that to you. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
They're just as big of
That's
jerks
true.
as
They
him.
could be like, oh, I think it was funny. So-
Terry E says Derek Lee had a nice run. Derek
Yeah.
Lee did have a nice
Until he
run.
broke his wrist.
Broke his
Yeah.
wrist. He had a back issue that kind of hobbled him for a long time, and he won a World Series with the team that knocked the Cubs out in 2003, and that fucking sucks.
God, how
So-
many more of these do we got to get through? Oh, a lot. Oh, Darvish. who's
Darvish.
pitching
I was
tonight.
trying to move on. Darvish, 30 starts,
Yay,
16
Darvish!
16-8, 3.10 ERA, a 1.21 ERA plus. He threw 194.2 innings this year. That was surprising to me because most guys don't even come close to 200. He had 197 strikeouts and only 37 walks. In the playoffs, 7 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 1 earned run, which was a home run, no walks. So apparently he's not aging as badly as maybe Jed thought he was going to.
I will never forgive them.
No, it's like, imagine this team with Rizzo and Darvish on it. Like you've
I
got
know.
some of the best like elite players on your team, and
Yeah. And they're having they're still putting up great numbers. Like this is whatever.
yeah. Let's go.
Let's
what's
move
happening
on.
to
Craig
Darvish
Kimbrell
tonight?
wasn't with the
He-
team
he-
long,
he was
but
wrong.
he was there. This season with the Dodgers, he had a 22 saves in 47 games, a 3.75 ERA, a 1.12 ERA plus, 60 innings pitched, 72 strikeouts in 60 innings, which is pretty good, but also 28 walks. Not on the playoff roster due to inconsistency. David Roberts had to go and have a conversation with him because he's like, dude, you're just not that good, which is rough to hear.
Yeah.
At any point. But yeah, that's tough for that guy. But yeah, he's not in the playoffs, so don't be looking for him. Moving on. Aroldis Chapman, 2022. He had 30 saves in 36 games, a 4.46 ERA, an 88 ERA plus. This guy is falling off the table a little bit. 36.1 innings pitched this year, 43 strikeouts, and 28 walks. Oof, that's over 50%.
He's old now.
Strikeouts, yeah. And he's old.
And
he's not on the playoff roster because he didn't go to a mandatory workout. Like practice? We're talking about practice.
He's like, practice. I'm 38 years old. What do I need practice for? I've been doing this since I was freaking 12.
They gave us a bye week. I went to fucking Miami.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
Couldn't get my flight back after the hurricane.
Yeah.
So, I don't think, he helped us win the World Series and nobody likes him. So that's kind of a thing.
Nobody gives a shit where he's going to be. Scott Efros, somebody we did actually kind of like, 2022 with the Yankees. So this is not his Cubs part because he was actually pretty good with the Cubs. He had 12.2 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts, 0 walks, a 2.13 ERA, a 188 ERA plus in those 12 innings. He's not in the playoffs because he had Tommy John surgery, or he needs Tommy John surgery. He blew his arm. The Cubs cut bait with that guy at exactly the right time. And didn't we get
Wisniewski
part of Wisniewski? Yeah.
right.
Wisniewski. Like they dumped Efros for Wisniewski, which is already a mismatch. And then he blows his arm like 12 innings later. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That was
that
was just some luck. Too bad for Efros though. I really did like him. I thought he was having a great year and
Come back better.
Yep. David Robertson's our last guy.
This one's hilarious.
2022.
This is an injury I can laugh about. I'm not going to laugh about the Ross one, but this one's funny.
Yeah. So this is when he went to Philly, he had 23.1 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts, 1 walk, a 2.70 ERA, but only an 86 ERA plus. Like he wasn't doing all that hot. In the playoffs, 1 inning pitched, 2 strikeouts, 0 walks, but he will not be in the playoffs for the rest as we go because he strained his calf while jumping up and down after Bryce Harper hit a home run against the Cardinals.
Yeah, he was celebrating the home run. He was celebrating a home run. He was jubilantly jumping up and down, and he strained his calf in Game 2 of the Wild Card Series. Now he's missing the next round.
Is hilarious. That's like there was that kicker back in the day that like kicked some meaningless extra point and he started jumping up and down. He blew his ACL. Like everybody, Martin Gramatica, I think. Martin Gramatica.
Oh my gosh.
Don't you think that though when they're celebrating, like they'll have a walk-off home run and then they're like pounding the guy on the head, on the helmet.
Oh,
and stuff,
yes,
and
I
they're, like,
always get worried about that.
And I'm like, you guys, I know it's exciting, but does it need to be violent?
Well, so when I first saw the headline, saw what it was, I didn't realize he was celebrating. I thought he just jumped up to get out of the way of the home run coming in. And I thought if he was with the Cubs, that wouldn't happen because the Cubs are well known for their refusal to move when the ball comes at them.
Well, they used to be when they
they still do it on home runs in the bullpen. If you watch some of those home runs and the guys are sitting there, they just do this.
Yeah.
They will not move and the ball just fucking.
Remember when Rosario caught Kyle's home run in his hat at one time? That was hysterical.
I will say that is probably the single biggest thing that I miss about having the bullpens on the field is the guys in the bullpen sitting there when fucking rocket balls are fouling off at them and they're just not moving. They just don't move.
Well, let's
amazing.
that's it. That's your
it.
where are they now? There's a lot of them. And as I said, if we had them all, well, some of them would not be on the playoff roster and some of them might be helping us win. So anyway, let's take a little commercial break and come back and talk about the Tom Ricketts letter and the press conference from Jed, and then we'll like pinch off the episode with a couple of fun things. I don't want to spend too much time on what the corporates are telling us because it's just the same old bullshit. But we'll come back and talk about it anyway. So this is a commercial for our Sun Ranto shopping. We'll be right back. If you're like most Americans, you buy shit. Lots of shit. Sometimes you buy shit for other people. Sometimes you buy shit for yourself. And sometimes you buy shit you have to buy just to stay alive. So why not buy shit through the Sun Ranto affiliate? Links at sunranto.com/shopping. We've got tons of shit you can buy. Go to sunranto.com, click on the shopping link, then click our ads and buy shit. We've got Amazon. They've got tons of shit. But you can also buy MLB shit, NBA shit, NFL shit, Fans Ed shit, Southwest Airlines shit, Fanatic shit, Reebok shit, Wine of the Month shit, Beer of the Month shit, Bear Mattress shit, StubHub shit, Lid shit, Sports Memorabilia shit, Volcanica coffee shit, Vibrator shit, Condom shit, Bag shit, NHL shit, and Audible membership shit. There's a whole lot of shit that can help the Sun Ranto show stay on the air so we can keep talking shit. So buy shit today through sunranto.com/shopping. Thanks. Cubs Jesus thinks you're the shit. Welcome back. So I did want to mention too that sunranto.com shopping. I went on there. I was like, I forgot everything that's on there. That wine of the month. They've got I love rosés. I don't know if you're a rosé fan, but
I like them.
yeah,
Annie loves a little rosé over some ice cubes.
I do. I do put
middle of
my
summer.
wine on ice. Yeah, like that's a $50 bottle of wine. Hey, I like it like this. Don't fuck with me. I like it cold. So,
no, Danny drinks fast enough that it's not going to melt.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I like the pink wine, and they've got like a deal right now. I just happened to see it today on the pink wine at Vine Box. I forget what the name of it. It's wine of the month. Just go on the Sun Ranto shopping page. You'll see the wine one, and click on that. There's a rosé sale. It's like you get like 6 bottles for $120, but they're like high end bottles. So if you're like looking to throw like a big party and stuff, so anyway, they pick it for you. They know what they're doing, I guess. And we get like $20 if you guys do it.
Yeah, buy some wine. Everybody likes
some
wine.
wine.
And do it now so it gets rolling for your holidays. You'll get some nice, and then you tell your friends, I got this bottle of wine through Sun Ranto Wine Club of the Month.
And they buy the wine, and then you're all drunk watching us, and we're just rolling in the dough.
We are so much funnier that way.
Yeah,
we just, a little bit of wine. Why do you think I drink every episode?
Why do you think I don't? Like the shows that I drink on, they go 4 hours long. Every single one of them, I will not shut up. I'm like, one more thing.
Hold on.
They make me laugh my ass off though. So
I'll get drunk on a show again. Yeah, I will.
I'm always a little depressed when I see Danny's not drinking.
You're like, he's gonna be a stickler for the time.
I'm gonna show the commercials this time.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, let's go Tom Ricketts first in the letter. And I saw you made some notes here. I don't want to read the.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it up there, Michael. If you just want to like tell me that.
We're not going to read. We're not going to read the whole letter because we're not fucking sadists.
But you can read it right now because I'm putting it up there. But go ahead, pause and read it.
But I saw a lot of people, out in the world saying it was a lot of words to say nothing because a lot of it was the same shit he said in 2021. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not true. The fact that he said the same thing as 2021, I think that says a lot. It's not nothing. We know what the fuck happened in 2022 after he sent the same type of letter out, right? Nothing good. It was bullshit then. It's bullshit now. That's actually saying a lot. But let's get into reading between some of these lines from the letter. we were cautiously optimistic with our offseason moves. We could compete for a spot in the expanded postseason
They
format.
wanted to be the Brewers.
Yes, this is exactly what he's saying. If they thought they could compete, why didn't they try harder? I mean, I think this means that they were using 2022 to test exactly how bad they could be and still make the end of season tournament.
This
This
is
is what they
literally
meant when they-
that reduction to the mean that I was talking about, and Ricketts was ahead of the process.
Yeah, they were right on it. They're like, let's see what we can do. The minimum we could do. This is what threading the needle meant. And it's as IFG is saying, it's probably going to be business as usual from here on out. So,
which is really going to suck for specifically the players that are on the like upper end of the talent pool. It's
right.
it's going to overall reduce their salaries. They're not going to be able to, claim as much because nobody's actually trying to be that good.
Yeah. It's going to lower the overall. I mean, it will probably never get lower, but it's going to slow down the growth of player salaries immensely. Okay, let's move it on here. Ricketts says, we closed out the season's second half with a 39-31 record, a .557 winning percentage, which is fifth best in the National League. Several of our position players proved that they belong at the major league level. Later in the letter, resources available to substantially supplement our current roster. I underlined supplement our current roster because this is letting you, the fan, know that fifth place in the National League is in the tournament, right? Like he's trying to hey, in the second half, you were fifth in the league. That means we're in the tournament, right? And B, they might not make all the moves that we want because these guys proved they belong in the MLB. What does that tell you? The guys that we have proved they belong in the MLB. So they have what they need, and they're just going to, quote unquote, supplement the roster. Even while we all look at this team and we're like, well, shit, we need upgrades at all these positions. They're not going to do that. They're going to supplement because if they can reproduce what they've done, they'll be fifth in the National League, and that's all they're fucking going for.
I'm going to supplement that thought too with a supplemental thought of Jed Hoyer's just to tie in what he said, because they're all saying the same shit. Like I don't think we need to be like, okay, here's what Tom said and here's what Hoyer said, because it's the same shit. Mm-hmm. So this is them
the puppet,
talking about
we're not sure which puppet is running which mouth, but
well, I mean, Tom Ricketts does own all the puppets, so he's kind of everybody's got a puppet what Tom says. So they talked about hard to imagine this is from Jed, a young player more focused on the team than Nico Horner. He wants to talk about the team, the winning, the culture. It's pretty easy to talk to him about whatever additions might impact him, and that is all about adding a shortstop. But they also said, we have total confidence in Nico's ability to play shortstop. The game is going to trend more and more athletic because of new rules. We'll look at adding more athleticism. They're probably, so if they can't get, they're talking about out of both sides of their mouth. Like, I think they might even try to lock up Nico Horner long-term on the Cubs this offseason. And
yeah, because the guy who keeps talking about team is really focused on team. That sounds like a guy like Anthony Rizzo that might take a nice extension. We're going to give you this. We know it might be a little bit low, but you know what? It's for the team. I'm really excited about the team. I want to be a part of this team. And if Nico does what he's doing right now and actually gets a little bit better, as we kind of think he will, they will have a good player for a low amount on that extension if they can get it.
What they're telling you, though, it's to me is that, sure, we're going to try for one of these shortstops, your Correa, your Trey Turner, who hit a big home run in that Dodgers game yesterday. And, we're going to try for these, for your Bogarts. But if we don't, we have total confidence that Nico Horner is the man for the job, and we'll lock him up. And like, I mean, are you okay with
I'm
that?
actually
Like,
concerned. I'm actually concerned that they won't try for one of the shortstops. They will focus somewhere
they'll
else.
try.
They'll
They
maybe
just
try
not
to
gonna.
pick up a.
No,
They'll
they'll
try to pick up a second baseman.
No, they will try. They will absolutely. They don't need a second baseman. They have 17. They will
What is
try.
try?
Whatever
Danny?
try means, it means that they need to take a high AAV, no years kind of deal, because exactly what Tom Ricketts is saying in this letter, which is we're going to continue to build this team for a certain kind of sustained success, which gets us close to the postseason tournament. Then are going to do that, but we are not going to lay out $500 million to have a shortstop like Correa be here until he's 40 years old. We're not doing that. And go ahead. I
Right.
just you got something.
I think they do go for one of the big shortstops, and they go cheaper on their starting pitching.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's not.
I hope
because a long-term big name shortstop is going to put asses in the seats, and pitchers last. They've got a much shorter shelf life.
Well, I think that's probably true because this free agency class for pitchers is just not very good. Like everybody's old or somewhat slightly broken. So they're not positive they want to do it.
Put them up.
There you go.
Yeah, Gordon Wittenmeyer, he wrote an article. I didn't read it, but the headline had people talking about how Gordon's so negative. But like Gordon's always right,
He's right. I fucking love. I want my obvious shirt says, "G-Dub Cub is my spirit animal."
And so, but Carlos Rodon, he's like, we're not getting Carlos Rodon. He wants all this money. He's only 30 years old. He's probably going to opt out. Anyway, yeah, but I'm just putting the list up. I'm not going to go through everybody.
Yeah,
and then by the end of it, like during the Ranto roundtable, who was it that Cody said he wanted? Manaya?
Oh, God.
That's not like super high end, it's going to help you, but.
No. And he's 31. Like he's good for sure, but
anybody on this list?
So okay,
ringing your bell there, IFG.
I don't know. I think
Bassett has a mutual.
Here's
option.
the thing to think about: John Lester was 31 when they gave him his deal, right? They gave him, 5 or 6 years for 155. That was like the biggest contract they'd ever given whoever. But
that guy's not on this list.
No, he's not on this list at all. But at the same time, Carlos Rodon is 30. It's like if you think that Carlos Rodon can give you 5 or 6 years, and it was whatever almost 10 years ago that you gave John Lester 155, like I mean, I don't know. There's ways to go about it. Like if you think about how they did the last one, it was, Lester at 31. They knew he wasn't going to do much in the end, but now they're not even willing to take that. You know what I mean? Like they're not even willing to take the end of the contract as somewhat.
Well, because intelligent spending.
Yeah.
We'll do intelligent spending again. But they say we have holes to fill. We'll be aggressive to fill them, whatever that means. It's like it's both things.
I don't know. Maybe they sign Jose Quintana again, and then turn around and get Correa.
We'll watch Kaplan fucking Kaplan will lose his mind.
Yeah, well, the thing is about Jose Quintana, he did quite well. In fact, in that game let's just remind everybody again about the game when the Phillies scored 6 in the 9th, that game to beat the Cardinals. Jose Quintana
wasn't Quintana's fault.
He pitched quite well in that game. He didn't give up any runs, in fact, and he was freaking awesome. So I don't know, like, why the hell that happens to the Cubs. Like, I was sitting there, like, listening to that. I was, like, at the grocery store listening to that game. And I was like, why do some players just do so shitty with us and so good with everybody else? Like, it's a fucking mystery.
Well, maybe figure something out. And if they drag him back as a consolation prize, then
Don't
Yeah.
change him, I guess.
He'll be bad again. No, I guarantee he'll come back to us and it won't go well at
this
all.
is
Yeah. Okay.
okay. This is mine. This is my dream.
Yeah.
Please
Okay,
bring him
okay.
home just for a little bit.
Oh,
Rich
Rich Hill
Hill.
for 10 years and an option.
I'll take him for 1 year. Just
Give
please
him the
don't-
Bobby Bonilla deal. $1 million a year for the next 50 years.
But he has to pitch. Unlike Bobby Wood, he still has to be in the
Well,
You
that's
know
the
he
thing.
could.
Rich Hill might actually still be pitching 50 years from now.
Yeah.
All right. Jumping back into this Ricketts letter, he says, in fact, the last 15 World Series winners were ranked in the top 10 farm systems in MLB in the years leading up to their titles. Later in the letter, he says, our farm system, 5th in baseball, is a significant improvement over our preseason ranking of 8th. Wait a second.
We're number 5.
Hold on.
Five.
If the biggest thing you need is a top 10 farm system and the Cubs were number 8, they were already there. Why didn't they fucking go for it? Like, why were they just like, I don't give a shit about this season. We got a top 8 season. Like, he's like, you got to be in the top 10. Oh, we're 8? Fuck. Who cares about this
Okay,
season?
but
What are
see,
you
they
saying?
had to
You're
use
either
this year to test how bad they could be and still make it to the playoffs.
Correct.
Before they have the sports book.
agreed, which came earlier. I agree with it. It just fucking drives me insane that he talks like people are like, oh, he didn't say anything. No, he's saying a lot of shit here. He's saying they were a top 10 farm system and they did not go for it, even though he is claiming that top 10 farm systems make you like eligible for a World
Eventually.
Series. Yeah, eventually. But still, you got to fucking go for it. Every season's sacred, right, Danny? Okay, so moving on. Resources available to substantially supplement our current roster. We will be active in free agency. This means nothing. They have been active in free agency for the last few years, but they've got nothing done because they're trying to thread the needle instead of going for it. He's saying the same thing over and over, but people are acting like he's not. They are threading this fucking needle. And yeah, I believe that they are very active in free agency, but they're not winning. They're not getting the guys right because they keep lowballing them.
I mean, they are active. They got Seiya Suzuki. They went and got Stroh. Those are long-term situations, but that is part of this like building block.
Stroh's
process.
3 years, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd call 3 years a long-term contract. I would call the 5. That's at the beginning of a long-term contract.
They're planning to compete. I think they're planning to go for the tournament next year, and then maybe more for that next year.
I don't think you go out of your way to buy Seiya for 5 years if you don't think you're competing within 4.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
but still, that's a long time
because of the expanded playoffs. And I think that they are active in free agency, but I think what they did last year was they thought that Seiya and Stroh were it. That's all they needed. Like if they just got those 2 guys, they had everything else that they needed.
Because they had Miley and they had Smiley, and you thought that Hendricks was going to pitch in the major leagues last year, and you actually might have had a little bit of a different season. You might have been on the cusp of one of those postseason.
But again, it's
slots. You know, even with what you have, you swept the Phillies when the young pitching emerged, and that was if that would have been our depth. If you're Justin Steele's of the world were your depth and your Hayden Wisniewski's were your depth at the end of the year, those guys are coming out of the pen. You know what I mean? Like Keegan Thompson's out of the pen all year. You maybe have a different kind of situation. I don't want to shoulda, woulda, coulda last year, but there was a lot of injuries to some pretty key players.
Absolutely.
But they've never had enough power.
But this actually plays right into my last bit. Intelligent decision making as we build a roster that can win games in the postseason. You notice he didn't say win the division, win the games in the postseason, because again, as IFG has pointed out, as I've said, Danny has said, we've been saying actually for a long time, they don't give a shit about winning the division. All they care about is to catch the pack late and try to win the tournament. That's all they want. They want to be the 5th place team in the tournament, the 6th place team in the tournament. That's all they care about. This is going to, and Crawley said it, I don't know, last year, argued with me, said, nope, they're going to see how this goes and they're going to start spending because they're going to want to win. They don't want to win anymore. I do not believe that they want to win anymore at all, other than the World Series. It's the World Series or nothing. They do not care if they don't get the World Series, which means wild card. That's all they care about.
This was inevitable as soon as the major league teams themselves were able to benefit from gambling.
Yep. Well, and then Danny's brought this up. The fucking bullshit universal DH is all about making everything even across the board so the gambling works better. The postseason tournament is a gambling fucking vehicle. Yeah. Like you just get more people in, more games to gamble on, and more, and also the evening of the schedule. So you have less interdivisional games to even out the schedule, so it's a little quote unquote fairer. Yeah. Yep. Or and by the way, Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson and who else? There's the whole all the 8 men out. Yeah, all the 8 men out are not in the Hall of Fame. Coat. Yeah, I don't know. They don't have a chance for the Hall of Fame because they gambled at some point back in the day, and So I mean, so that's what we're looking at, and pretty much, I would say Jed had the exact same issue with being somewhat. I mean, not, but he said a whole lot of nothing. Is what I'm trying to say. It's like, okay, but this is what I'm talking about too. Everybody says he said a whole lot of nothing. Ricketts said a whole lot of nothing. And I feel like that's why I tried to break this down. They didn't say a whole lot of nothing. No, I totally agree with you. They were just talking out of the side of their mouths about what, like they were massaging the things that they really wanted to say. We're not going for divisions. We're going for the end of season tournament. We're not going to go get the big splash. We're supplementing the team. You know what I mean? And that's it. It's like, because we've been telling them for years, like, okay, you're going to tell us, we're a dynasty, but then you're going to sell all of our players out. We're sick of being lied to. And we've been telling them that for years. We're tired of being lied to. So they put out this letter. There's not a single lie in it. It doesn't say that we're going to try to win the division or be the best team. It says we're going to play postseason games. And guess what? If we get into the wild card, you get 3 postseason games. It's not even like a play-in. And they will tell you about it. They'll tell you about it. Odds are 2 because that's what we saw this year. Well, they've already been saying that we've made the postseason 6 out of the last 7 years. They've been already using that. Which isn't true. I mean, they can't say it anymore. That's for sure. Every year they're like, we thought it was going to be like this, but that's why they changed the wording to postseason and not playoffs. Because they've been saying postseason for a while, is what I'm saying. Like they counted because 2018. Because they heard me bitching saying it's not the fucking playoffs, it's postseason. There's 2 different things. So I mean, it's not good enough. That's for one. But no, they've been saying. I mean. Here's the thing. If we keep showing up, they're never going to do anything. We've been talking for an hour and 33 minutes about the Cubs. There hasn't been a Cubs game in 2 weeks. We spent a long time building up to the Cardinals blowing that game in the 9th inning. We really built to that crescendo. Like, that took a while. We talked about the Indians, the Mariners. Like, we spent some time because they have done such a bad job that a Cubs podcast can't even focus on the Cubs anymore. Exactly. It's sad. So I do have a little bit of good news, and that is that, some of these young guys that we're developing, the next Cubs core or whatever, that the 5th best farm system in the majors, they won Player of the Year. A couple of the guys, Matt Mervis, with his 36 home runs, who I don't know if you just,
if he's like just the front runner to get that first base job, I mean, what else are you going to do?
Who else I mean, unless you really think that Patrick Wisdom can hold that down. I mean, who do you got? Like, I don't.
DJ's got to catch the baseballs. We're not going to have Wilson.
Yeah,
I mean,
Wilson's not gonna
that-
be there unless he's qualifying
honestly,
for Wilson.
If you want to save a little bit of money because you're the Ricketts, PJ Higgins at first base, and catch one day a week. Like first base is his.
Well, they were kind of doing that, especially when Frank the Tank went down, and when I'm drawing a blank on his name, the other guy, Rivas, yeah, Alfonso Rivas, yeah.
Well, but they've been talking a lot about trying to transfer Wisdom over there too. But I mean, if Wisdom can do it, but maybe not all the time, and you put Higgins over there, and Higgins is your
that's what I'm saying. Like, or it's Matt
catcher.
Mervis, and you're not worried about any of this stuff. Or maybe he comes out, has a monster spring, and he just breaks with the team, and he's awesome in the major leagues, and he's rookie of the year, and like,
I want that to happen. I'm with you, Danny.
Yeah, he just won player of the year, so it's good. The other guy is Devers, Luis Devers, 191 ERA between Myrtle Beach and South Bend in 117.2 innings, mostly as a starter. So it's also good news.
Do you
I don't
remember
give a lot
talking
of good
about-
news. That's some good news.
Do you remember? I think it's wonderful news. Do you remember talking about Devers this year?
Didn't you think he was somebody else?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you
I don't
thinking
know. I'm like,
Rafael Devers?
you just said Devers, and I'm like, who?
Because there's like Rafael Devers too, right? There's another Devers. Yeah. So
It's a
anyway,
double Devers situation.
Yeah, I took the double Dever. So anyway, we're gonna do one more commercial. We're gonna come back and do a good, bad, and the ugly, and which is a nice little bit, real quick. And then actually, do you know what? Screw the commercial. I'm rolling through. Even though my cat wants to go out, I don't care. We're doing good, bad. We're doing good, bad, and the ugly, which is
Good, the bad.
which is kind of like a commercial, but not really, because it's just more fun than a commercial. So I've got two things for good. Okay. Now I want everybody's opinion on this. Now this is, how does that go?
Yeah, I was trying to do the Sergio Leone.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. So this is what I'm showing to the podcast listeners. I will describe. It looks like a varsity Letterman's jacket, and there's a couple different patches on the jacket. It's no, yeah, well, a couple. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if you count the sleeves, and then on the back,
patches.
yeah, 7 patches, and then in the back 9, 10, where you got the 84 Cubs bear, or is that the 69 bear?
That's the 84 bear.
That's the 84
the 69 bear is the yellow one.
Nice. And then but it kind of looks cool. It kind of has that race car driver look. Now, my only problem with the jacket is that it's 100% polyester.
What?
Doesn't it look like it should be wool with leather sleeves?
Yes.
It's polyester, and it doesn't look polyester.
What?
I don't even know how they keep the patches on the polyester with it not coming off.
Yeah, I don't.
So anyway,
maybe it's printed.
Tell me in the chat if you like this. This is
this vote? Okay, we got a boo.
We got a boo.
Ugly.
Yeah, so people aren't liking my taste with the good. I kind of like it.
I'm on the fence about it. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't make fun of anybody for having it.
Well,
I guess
it's also $274.
Oh, okay.
$4. At $274, it feels like it should be like a Letterman's jacket, and like the wool and the leather and the
that's what I thought.
Polyester, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Are they just trying to fool people into buying this thing, and it just comes and it's just like light and polyester doesn't, because it looks like a warm coat. So anyway, people don't like it. So I dropped the link in the chat. If you like it, you should buy it, because then we get a kickback from your $274. So now here's my next one. Now, right now I'm getting married in a little over a month. I'm trying to find it
Yay.
here. And me and Nicole go down to Mexico. And so I texted her earlier tonight. I said, "Can I have this as my ring?" Because I still don't have a wedding ring. And it is a championship 2016 ring.
It's only $40. Do
Yeah,
it.
$40. You can get it on Amazon Prime. Now, here's the thing, and it's eligible for Prime. You probably have it in a week. And I'm going to drop the link for this one in the chat too. But here's my question though: why can't I get it in multiple sizes? It says on the thing, and when I clicked the see more on it, and it said that it was one size fits most, and I'm like, if there's anything that you need something that's that's the size you are, it's a fucking ring. So maybe it fits me, but I'm not gonna pay $40. I mean, free returns, I guess. Maybe I can just get it.
As hilarious and funny that would be if that was your wedding ring, you would get so sick of having that on that you would never wear your wedding ring.
Well, wear it around on a chain. I don't know. No, I won't wear my ring anyway.
That's a fucking promise ring. That's not a wedding ring. By the way,
whatever your background.
StreamYard has told me that for some reason they cannot do my background. In fact, during that whole thing, my whole screen blacked out. I lost the baseball game. Everything fucking flipped out. And then StreamYard was like, it's because you got a weird background.
Oh, well, maybe it's they caught it as
a barcode or something.
No, it's got Major League Baseball logos in it. They might have just shut you the fuck down. It's playoff time. They're watching everybody. I'm just saying, that's happened. When
man, I'm glad I'm not in my living room.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right.
There'll be something going on the back of your in the back when you're trying to broadcast something. And no, that'll totally fuck you. So, all right. So those are my goods. So somebody buy that ring. Well, actually, I think I might just buy it. I might just buy that ring as my wedding ring. And if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, I'll ask my jeweler friend to help me. If he can't get it to the right size, then I'll just get another ring. so here's my
hold on. Padres are up 4-3. They would have been up, I believe, 5-3, but they had a Tootbland sliding in home. Just kind of not a good. Yeah, they got them by a minute. So
well, yeah, Padres a little sloppy, little bit of a sloppy team. So here's my bad. All right, now you can get this from Amazon, you collectors out there. What a wonderful collection of cards this is. It's the 15-card team set with rookies from Topps, the Heritage Baseball Series. And, boy, look at this, guys. You can get yourself – it's got Wilson. It's got Happ. But look at this. It's got Matt Duffy. You got Harold Ramirez in there. I mean, you got Rivas. Alec Mills, he pitched a little bit.
Yeah, you got Ortega up there. But, yeah,
yeah, Ortega. But not great. So unfortunately, the bad is the actual players that are on the actual team of the Chicago Cubs, which makes
you could actually go to the gas station and get just as good a pack for 25 cents, and you'll get a piece of stale bubble gum.
Now, if you hated the last jacket that I put up as my good, you're gonna really hate this one. Here's my ugly. This is a $497.
Fuck you, Ralph Lauren.
You're gonna put your own name on it?
It says
no.
Ralph
That's not
Lauren.
so. That's Ralph. That's the fucking designer.
Yeah, unless your name is Ralph or Lauren, and maybe you're married. Your name's Ralph, and you married somebody named Lauren, or vice versa. Yeah, so this is the Cubs logo on the front that makes it look like it says Cuba.
It does.
I love the Cuba logo for the record.
I mean, that was in the 2000s, right? I think.
Yeah, it was early Sammy days for me.
So, yeah, and then but on the back you have the small Cubs logo and giant words Ralph and Lauren. So just like this is for the label whore.
Yes.
God, it's just awful. You know that I'm going to see this someday, and it's going to be some douchebag in the 1914 club that comes to one game a year and probably just bought it on his way to the stadium.
I'd
What's the
slap
most
him on the back and be like, "Hey, Ralph, how you doing?"
Yeah, hey Ralph, how's Lauren?
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, so it's pretty bad. But if you do buy this for $500, you'll be my hero because we get like 8% of your purchase.
If you
You should buy
buy
four.
this, I want you to hang yourself while wearing it.
Oh God, I don't think you're allowed to say that on YouTube anymore.
Sorry.
No, we will get shut down. So, all right. So, that's it. Nothing. I mean, I think the ring. I think the ring's the only one that
The
I'm gonna
ring's the
buy.
one, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
gonna
the
get.
winner. Yep. The ring. You can't go wrong with. That's the beauty. That's the good.
So, Cubs caroling is coming up. These are the announcements. I made a Facebook event. It's going to be December 17th.
I am already working on my song, Danny.
Oh no,
Man,
that's not good news for me.
no, I'm going for it this year. I'm trying to find one that I can sing. I'm gonna
Are
practice
you gonna
it.
hire? I was gonna say, if you're going for, you gonna hire some singers this time.
I might learn to play the piano. Just
Oh,
that
okay.
one song, but
All right. I like. All right, little brownie points here.
jingle
Learning an instrument.
bells, jingle bells, right? Like just one finger.
Yeah,
Ding,
no,
ding, ding.
yeah, that's not. No, that's not gonna do it. So, Cubs caroling December 17th. I think we're gonna do it at 5 p.m. I put that we're gonna meet at Output Lounge, because we did that last year and they let us into their back room, to rehearse back there. But
That sounded dirty.
I'm just gonna put that now. I know, but I'm gonna put that there for now. But join the Facebook event. I'm gonna try to make a what do they call it? Evite for it as well. So, so start, speaking of Cubs carols, start working on yours. I'd have a prize, and the prize this year for the winning Cubs carol. It's
I'm
pretty
taking
cool.
it home.
It's worth about $69. Look at this.
Nice.
It is you can't see because my stupid ring light. It is a 1970 Leo DeRocher near mint baseball card that was given to me by my friend Kevin. And it could be yours if you win the Cubs caroling contest. So there you can see it better without the glare. So that's pretty cool baseball for you collectors out there. Yeah. So that's the prize. So start working on your Cubs carols, Cubs Christmas carols. Also, our schedule is going to be a little wonky, I guess, the next couple of weeks. Like tonight, we're going up against the game. We didn't really mean to do that, but there was like no other time to do it. And then as I said, I'm getting married. So from like basically November 16th through like December, first week of December, we're not going to have a show unless Michael wants to have a show. Then Michael could do a show. I'm not going to be at the show though.
Then I gotta figure out how to do the whole StreamYard thing.
You're gonna learn how to use
That
this.
sounds very close.
I gotta learn how to not just click on the link.
So have a nice Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. We try to stay out of the way of football, so that like leaves us like Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
I'll post Patreon shit during that time.
Yeah. So the Patreon people will get a little content, and meanwhile, I'm gonna go get married in Mexico, as you do at Thanksgiving time. So, and also I just wanted to say that like sometimes we might not do this show and just do the Twitter spaces instead during the off season, because that's kind of like a show, but it's interactive with you guys. And I know you interact on the chat and everything, and that's cool. But I like hearing from more people, like to hear your voice, like to hang out and hear everybody's, have a conversation instead. And also I just wanted to thank everybody that participated in on the Facebook page, the Mike Leonard condolences jersey, where we give, if somebody loses their parent, we all pitch in, give them something with, from all of us at the Ranters. So we had raised money a little bit ago for Carl Craddock. He lost both his parents within the last year and a half. I think his mom was the latest one that died, and we raised money, and there was a memorial service on Sunday, and he had said that he didn't want another jersey, which we got him for his dad. So we ended up getting him some flowers, and this is them. My friend Lauren picked him up. I think he's been on the show as a White Sox fan. He picked him up, and he went out to the memorial service. Check this out. I told him we had about $75 to spend. And so he bought a rose arrangement that was custom for $69.99. He made sure to send me the tag. He knows how much that means to us here on the Son Ranto show. And it meant a lot to Carl. He also thanked me and said, thank you so much for the beautiful flowers. So I was busy doing my own funeral. So I had a funeral, I had a wake on Friday. I had a funeral on Sunday for my aunt who lived 95 years, just like a really long, great life. But so, yeah, it's just everybody take care of themselves because, that's catchy. We're coming out of this pandemic and people still dying. So I don't know what's going on.
I know. They told us everybody was going to stop dying.
Biden said we were fine. I don't know what's going on.
Biden said the pandemic is over. Nobody's dying ever again.
Ever again. But people are being born. And I forgot to bring this up on the Rancho Roundtable. But our friend Michael Cerami from Bleacher Nation had a little baby. Doing his part to grow the fan base. Meet Leonardo Salvatore Cerami. He and Mama are healthy and happy and ready to root for the Cubs.
I always get a little anxious
Leo.
about seeing teenagers with babies, though.
I know he looks so young, right?
I'm like, you should have waited a little longer. Maybe gone to school. I don't know.
Teen pregnancies. Freaking
Gotten a
Biden again.
job.
Just making teenagers get pregnant. So anyway, also there's been another death. I haven't gotten around to dealing with it. But Brian, our Pirates fan friend who comes on the show all the time, the guitar player, his dad died. So I've been in contact with him. We're going to get him a Pirates Ralph Kiner jersey. So that's going to happen. I'll put up again if you guys want to pitch in for it. We always raise too much, and that's fine because we're going to need it because everybody keeps dying apparently. So anyway, maybe I should get off of that. I was going to end with the baby too, and I forgot about the other deaths. So take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. But I'll start with the TFC. Do you have one, Michael?
I do.
Okay. No, IFG, do you have one?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to explain it before, but it's, and I should explain it to everybody who doesn't know what it is anyway. TFC stands for These Flexing Cubes, where we just take something that we found on the internet that is baseball related or not, Cubs related or not, and we make fun of that person. We bring them on. Sometimes it's harsh, sometimes it's stupid, sometimes it's ridiculous, sometimes it's funny, but sometimes it's disgusting. But I'll start with this one. That is this fits into the death situation. I found this when I was looking around Amazon for a good, bad, and the ugly. And this is a baseball that a grandson can gift to their, or a grandmother can gift to their. God, it's hard to say. Grandmother can gift to
You're
their
gonna grift it to her because she's charging her grandson for this.
The real grift is to pay $24 for this. And they got 6 different styles. You can give it dad to son, whatever, mom to son. But there's not one for girls. You can't give this to your daughter. It's only for male identifying children. So here's the problem with this baseball.
There's probably a softball for girls.
There is,
and there's twice as many words.
Yeah, well, God, they already have enough fucking words. This is the most. I mean, you know how big a baseball is? It's tiny, and it fits in the palm of your hand. Well, this thing, they wrote a novel on the damn thing,
Really
and it's
did.
Got to the end.
I know it's like got 65 different fonts going on, and I'm like this person, it's just like somebody.
She just read it while Diddy was talking and she lost her shit.
Yeah. Should I read it? It's all right.
Yes.
My grandson, I want you to believe deep in your heart, other font, you're capable of achieving anything you put your mind to, other font, that you will never lose or either win or learn, Other font, just go forth and aim for the skies. And I can't, other font, I can't promise to be here for the rest of your life. Like, can you like read this? You're like, get this on your 10th birthday. Can you imagine? You're like sitting there holding this thing, reading this from your grandma, and then all of a sudden you're like, she's like, well, I'm gonna die, but you'll always have this ball. And
He started with, oh God, Grandma finally remembered I like baseball.
yeah.
Grandma's gonna die.
Happy birthday. Contemplate my death. But she says, I can't promise to be here for the rest of your life, but I can promise to, other font, love you for the rest of mine. Love Grandma.
She's doubling down on
the death.
It's not going to be long.
You know what? We're gonna stop.
I'm so much closer now than I was before I gave this to you.
Well, I'm going to drop a link for this in the chat because we do get in case you want to buy this for your
This
traumatize your grandchildren.
All the ranchers need to send this to Danny for his wedding.
Well, I forget what the other ones are, but they have $25 for this thing too. Oh, what a rip! List price is $30 though. You save $6. That's a prime early access. You have 2 more hours or whatever to buy this thing. So, all right. So, anyway, that was ridiculous.
Oh, God damn it! You should have ended with that one.
Yeah, I
Holy
should have.
crap, that was good.
I didn't know it was going to be that funny.
What, did you not read it? Did you not realize?
I did, but I read it by myself, not with everybody. You know.
It could only be better if like you could actually see a dead grandma there with it, like in her hand.
just like at the funeral, just like holding it in the casket.
That's what the grandson, when she dies, he puts it in
his casket with her in her hands with the rosary. Brutal.
Oh,
just
God.
brutal.
That
All right, what
was
you
great.
got? Tough act to follow for both of us.
I honestly don't. This is the funny thing about TFCs is that I put them in here. The show's so long. I drink. I never know what I'm just as surprised as you guys are. Let's see. Oh. Samuel Davis Jr. 5000 says, if the Cardinals lose tonight, what are their fans going to do until their annual January 6th celebration?
Oh, that's good. That's fucking wonderful.
This their grandsons.
That surprised me.
This one's from Sports Dudes. And did you guys see what game was it that there was a guy that in a chicken suit at the game? Did you see that?
San Diego, I would guess.
Yeah. Well, Sports Dude says, if you got to a game in a chicken suit, you truly are a loser.
Loser. I love the people who can't spell loser.
Yeah. Well, I love it, especially if you're like calling people losers misspelling the word loser. It's just one of those. You know, that's a classic internet flex.
That really is. Oh, those are fun.
Don't you have another one?
I don't. I only have one.
What's this one?
Oh yeah. See, you're in the same boat as me. You're like, oh, what is this?
Yeah. Well, this is actually a good one to kind of end on, just to wind it down here. It's like Shug Nasty on Twitter at SHUUG Nasty, if you want to follow him. Says the Cubs are like the really rich family member that gets you gifts from the dollar store.
You straight.
They kind of are like this.
Exactly like
yes. The $25 store gives you a baseball from your grandma.
Yeah. If I got that from one of the Ricketts, it would actually be hopeful.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, that's the show. That's a good one. That was fun. We learned a lot, I think.
We nailed the 2-hour mark. I love it.
Yeah, we did. I knew we might. Thank you, Infield Fly Girl, of course, as always, for sitting in the third chair here, and Michael wants to promote a little over the
Yeah,
Ivy
Confluence beer. Send us money over the Ivy. Check.
Send me
Pilsner.
beer. I'm in Seattle.
Yeah. No, and you
got
got to go
great
hang
beers,
out with
yeah.
Gary. You guys actually would be friends. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, Gary's an awesome guy. He's a theatrical dude. He's a lot of fun. He's a musician. He's a great dude. Plus he's a twin, which is a little creepy. So
never seen the other one.
actually I did, and it freaked me out. I was like, you have to leave my house. Like, I can't, like, really.
There can't be two of this.
No, yeah, because I knew Gary for like 10 years. We like hung out so much, and then then I met his brother like 10 years later. Like, I grew up with twins, and like that's a story. That's another off-season story. We're not even in the off-season. We got baseball to watch.
We're gonna blow our 2-hour mark.
Yeah, well, we just did. And I'm gonna play a song, and I'm gonna play that Cup Snake. Everybody doing the Cup Snakes again, like I played last time. So, spagog, y'all, and we'll do this again next week.
Spagog!
Yes, we will.
The train from Barrington to get drunk and have some fun in the bleachers. Fireballs at Cubby Bear with his friends, he doesn't care if he's late. He boos and screams and cheers, and he pounds a dozen beers in the bleachers. But the highlight of his day was when he made a cup snake. They piled it high and piled it higher. Left field sucks came from the choir. They stacked those cups for 27 rows. How beautifully built those cups were, till a mean red-shirted usher said, "Buddy, I think it's time to go." Chases Jägermeister with the Mai Tai. And the best part of the game was stacking cups up in the night. He's a cup snake guy. Well, he came to see the Cubs, but instead he's stacking cups in the bleachers. He was too drunk by the fourth to care about the score of the game. Now he's reaching for the sky, heaping cups up super high in the bleachers. Worth $100 he paid to get drunk and make a cup snake. Everything felt so fantastic, holding his pillar of plastic, a monument to Wrigley's drunken fans. Beer and dick spits, raining showers from the